President Donald Trump has threatened that Venezuela's new leader will pay a big price if she, Delcy, refuses to cooperate with the U.S. Now, his statement comes after U.S. forces seized and jailed her former boss, Nicolás Maduro. Speaking to The Atlantic in a telephone interview, Trump said that if interim President Delcy Rodríguez did not comply, she will be paying a very big price, probably bigger than Maduro. U.S. forces attacked Caracas before dawn Saturday, bombing military targets and sprinting away Maduro and his wife to face federal narco-trafficking charges in New York. The deposed leader is due to appear in a Manhattan court on Monday. The Trump administration says it is willing to work with the remainder of Maduro's government as long as Washington's goals, particularly opening access to U.S. investment in Venezuela's enormous crude oil reserves, are met. In another interview, Secretary of State Marco Rubio said that discussions of Venezuela holding elections following Maduro's ouster were premature, with Washington focused on ensuring the remaining leadership in Caracas enacts policy changes.
Elections? Well, look, this is a country that's been governed by this regime now for 14 or 15 years. The elections should have happened a long time ago. The elections did happen. They lost them, and they didn't count the votes, or they refused to count the votes, and everyone knows it. So all of that, I think, is premature at this point. There's a lot of work to be done here. Right now, what we are focused in, let's be realistic here, what we are focused on right now is all of the problems we had with when Maduro was there. We still have those problems in terms of them needing to be addressed. We are going to give people an opportunity to address those challenges and those problems. Until they address it, they will continue to face this oil quarantine.
Rubio also suggested that the United States would not take a day-to-day role in governing Venezuela other than enforcing an existing oil quarantine on the country. A turnaround after President Donald Trump announced a day earlier that the U.S. would be running Venezuela following its ouster of leader Nicolás Maduro. In the meantime, European Union has reiterated that respect for the will of the Venezuelan people was the only way to restore democracy. In a statement supported by 26 member states, except Hungary, the EU's Foreign Affairs Chief Kaja Kallas called for calm and restraint by all actors to avoid escalation and to ensure a peaceful solution to the crisis. The Venezuelan opposition figure in exile, Edmundo González Orrotia, has reacted to Maduro's ouster in an Instagram post from Spain. He said that while the capture of Maduro was an important step, it was not enough to return normalcy in the crisis-hit nation. On the other hand, Venezuela continues to grapple with their new reality post Maduro's ouster. Now, the pre-dawn U.S. bombing at the Fort Tiona military complex in Caracas left residents of nearby Ciudad Tiona community shaken. The bombing also left a neighborhood in the dark, while smoke was still rising from the mountain near Fort Tiona after Sunday, after the assault that happened.
At the moment of the bombing, the first thing that came to my mind was that the Americans had invaded because that's what you think. Then my husband told me, grab the child, grab the child. I even went downstairs in my pajamas because we didn't have time to change or anything. In an emergency, you don't think about anything. You could even run out naked without realizing it.
Some residents of Catia, a town near Venezuela's capital Caracas, were left homeless or with damaged homes in the U.S. military operation. A small Romulo Gallegos neighborhood was damaged as part of the U.S. attack on a nearby naval academy.
I don't agree with this. No matter what happened, whatever it was, look at everything that happened there, inside. Over on that side too, and in the back as well, all of that, we have to be aware, we have to have principles. Now I'm hoping for a quick response from the government to help my family, my children, because they very nearly killed my kids here. You know, my kids were almost killed.
Parallel to this, Venezuela's military said it recognizes Vice President Delcy Rodríguez as the country's acting leader after Maduro's toppling. Defense Minister Vladimir Padrino Lopez issued a statement endorsing a Supreme Court ruling that appointed Rodríguez as acting president for 90 days. His endorsement comes after Venezuela's High Court ordered Rodríguez to assume the role of interim president on Saturday. Delcy Rodríguez, who is next in the presidential line of succession, has served as Maduro's vice president since 2018, overseeing much of Venezuela's oil-dependent economy as well as its intelligence service. Now, Trump had earlier claimed that the US had been in touch with Rodríguez and that she was willing to do what we think is necessary. The Venezuelan diaspora has had mixed reaction about the events of past 2 days. Now, several Venezuelans gathered in a public square in Colombian capital city. The gathering featured participants holding signs and wearing shirts that read slogans such as Free Venezuela and sang patriotic songs, with some overwhelmed with tears.
I think Trump and Marco Rubio have been very clear in the last few hours. Delcy Rodríguez has a window of opportunity like Maduro had on July 28, 2024, and he dismissed it. Delcy has a window of opportunity. Either she enforces the Constitution or she will suffer the same fate as Cilia and will join her in New York. This is very clear. There's no turning back. The strategic line is clear.
Venezuelans in Barcelona also waved flags and sang to celebrate the toppling of Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro.